welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is for Curtain Raiser, and with me today to judge all these wonderful, talented individuals we're about to see in this cartoon is my good friend, Manny Cruz. Say hi.
I elated them in Elizabeth.
Yeah, I love that line, and we'll discuss it in a moment, of course. So, a few bits of info. This is, of course, Curtain Raiser, released on the 21st of May 1949. It's the 556th in the series, and it's directed by Frizz Freleng. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Superstar Porky Pig DVD set. It's also on HBO Max in high definition.
So I laid an egg.
As for the synopsis, you may or may not have seen this one, but just in case you haven't, it's very straightforward. Porky is a talent agent for Good and Corny, gotta love that, looking out for acts for some sort of a talent show that's about to be put on, and for the rest of the cartoon, we just see these wonderful, weird, and sometimes even bad acts being put on.
They're swooning body saucers.
Few bits of trivia on this one. So, some of you might have seen this cartoon via Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island, but it had a slightly different intro, where in this cartoon, you see a waiting room with all these people waiting, and in the Fantastic Island, you see a pan up in an apartment building. So, why they did that, I don't know. But anyway.
Them a break.
Discovering new talent for the world to see. A wondrous thing for a producer to be.
So, just a few celebrity identifications for you. So we of course we have the three birds, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Al Jolson, which we'll discuss the music later on. I'm sure Manny is going to get into that for us. But we get Mel Blanc, two different references. One is, of course,
I killed him in Cucamonga.
That's what Mel Blanc did on the Jack Benny show. But also, you have the turtle character, who is a play on Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices.
That's a joke, son. That's a joke, that is. Yes, that's a joke. Everybody wants to get into the act.
He's doing Lionel Barrymore, Senator Claghorn, Rochester, and Jimmy Durante, and probably others, but it's probably gone too quickly. And of course, I love the gag. I'm sure I've got another voice there somewhere. There's a few gags that were repurposed for Showbiz Bugs, which is probably one that you guys are more familiar with than this one. So you've got the ending gag, of course, where in this one you got the fox blowing himself up. Daffy blows himself up in Showbiz Bugs to try and entertain the audience. But you've also got the bird act, gets reused, and the shoe shuffle dance as well. So what were you saying, Manny, about Frizz reusing stuff?
What are you talking about? Frizz never reuses gags. Hashtag sarcasm. That was a little thing for the kids out there in the audience. The Zoomer generation, trying to be hip with the kids. You should put in a picture of Steve Buscemi holding the skateboard, and it's like, "How do you do, fellow kids?" As I try to relate to 20-year-olds and teens listening.
Exactly right. And I just want to point out as well that when the chicken says,
"So I laid an egg,"
basically double meaning. So it's also saying about doing something bad or poorly. So, of course, Porky's kind of vicious in this one in some respects. He's got this trapdoor and everything, and he looks kind of really angry at some of these acts. I mean, you're a huge fan of Porky. He's your favorite character, as you keep mentioning. What do you think about this Porky? I mean, he's wearing pants in this one as well, so.
Well, thank goodness for that. But no, I like seeing this take of Porky, that he's like a shrewd businessman, or shrewd talent agent, I should say. And some of the little asides he has are like, I like especially the part near the end when he's trying to pull the trap door for the fox, and you just see him give a little look. And I don't know, it's cool seeing how Frizz explored this side of Porky's personality, because usually when I think of like him being a little bit more, I don't want to say cranky, but like a little bit more antagonistic, I guess you could say. I usually think of Chuck Jones's approach in like cartoons with Sylvester or whatever, but no, I like what Frizz did with this cartoon. He made Porky pretty interesting because I know some people and some directors found Porky to be a bland character, but this is more like when he was the main star in the late 30s and 40s. But you know what? Porky's still my favorite, so there.
Yeah, exactly right. Although I did find it weird how the high diving act was rejected. I mean, I'm looking at it going, I want to see this act. I want to see this person dive in a glass of water.
I'm not going to dive not into a tank of water, but an ordinary glass of water. I need to start pronouncing. Okay, so I guess I might as well bring up it's not really an elephant in the room, but I'll say it anyway. How, I'm originally from New Jersey and I moved back here, but when I was in Texas, or when I spent a month in California, how everybody made fun of the way I pronounce dihydromonoxide or H2O. How I pronounce the thing that we all need to survive. Water. I say water. It's how I am. I grew up near New York City. My dad's a New Yorker. So I say water, and then, I go to Texas or California, like, yeah, let me get a glass of water, a bottle. Well, you drink water? You drink water? You have a dog? And I'm like, I never said it like that. I make fun of Northeast people. I say, I'd like some water. In singing, we say this a bright ah sound. And I do it with a aw sound, call, dog, whatever it may be. So I think from now on, just so nobody bothers me, I'm gonna pronounce water just like this. That part right there made me laugh so much. I mean, this whole cartoon is just a nice smorgasbord of Mel Blanc doing different voices. Just listening to all the different, and especially in that scene where he's doing the Man of 1,000 voices. But that particular part right there, not into a glass of water, just slays me every time. Just
Exactly.
how over the top it is.
Exactly right. And yet it was rejected, so Porky's vicious in this one. But now, one of the frustrating things about researching for these cartoons is the amount of misinformation on voice acting. So I turned to my good friend Keith Scott, who gave me the excerpt from his upcoming book on voice acting, which reads, this cartoon has Mel Blanc as the following: Operatic Grasshopper, Porky Pig, Hen, sped up, Wolf, Tortoise Mimic, Al Jolson Duck, Two-Headed Janitor, J. Finn and Hattie, the Hive Diving Dog, Flea Circus Dog, and the Flea Circus vocal effects. Now, the other voices are Cliff Nazaro as Bing Crosby Parrot singing, and Dave Barry as two voices, the Bing Crosby Parrot speaking, and the Frankie Rooster speaking and singing. Whew. Considering that both me and Manny thought it was Stan Freberg doing the Wolf, well, this book is going to be amazing once it comes out in 2022. Let's start at the beginning, how there is a magazine in the background just called Stuff. I mean, I love looking at background elements to see if there's any little hidden gags here and there, and that one just took me by surprise. I'm like, wow, someone's being a little bit perhaps lazy in that one. Was maybe hoping the film grain of the time might have covered that up or whatever. But anyway, I still think it's pretty funny. We got the chicken, and that chicken reminds me of Clara Cluck, I think is the character from the Disney series. Got the chicken just always singing opera with in that chicken voice. So it's good to see that kind of voice again.
Like, was it Mickey's Grand Opera? That's one I'm thinking of in particular. But I think this unreasonable Clara Cluck facsimile did a really good job. Of course, singing Blue Danube from Strauss, Johann Strauss, the Waltz King. And I honestly think we should hear more performances of the Blue Danube performed as someone clucking like a chicken.
And I think someone needs to get 2001: A Space Odyssey, and instead of having the Blue Danube in space, just change it with this particular chicken. But let's talk about the three birds, singing birds, of course. And they sing a song that's been used in a few Warner Brothers cartoons up until then. And, I mean, first of all, I love the over-the-top Al Jolson. Like, my kids love that bit. Like, just the exaggerated version. But what song were they singing?
Well, I was going to make a lame joke. Well, I'll say it anyway. They were singing Mark's Showers because it was raining today here where I live. No, it's not Mark. Well, it is March 6th. But yeah, April showers. When April showers, they come your way. Actually, no, I sang it wrong. When April showers, they come your way. I'm in the same boat where I love that Al Jolson duck. But obviously, with the context, I understand. It's like a part of me is like, I could see if you did your homework and if you know what's going on, you could, a duck that it looks like Daffy Duck, you could say. But Al Jolson, if you put two and two together, you could realize, oh, it's like making fun of the stereotype. But I mean, I don't want to say innocuous, but like you could kind of get away with it's just a funny duck with a weird voice. But
Exactly.
those of us in the know the history behind it. But I still think that doesn't take away from hearing an impression of Al Jolson and of Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. And Al Jolson was done beautifully by Mel Blanc once again. That's one of the reasons why I love the Warner Brothers cartoons, in particular, is when they break into these musical moments and just the amazing talent they were able to possess with all these different singers, especially in the 30s. And I think I've said in another commentary that I have a soft spot for some of the mid to late 30s merry melodies because I love the musical breaks that they have in them. And I think that part is kind of like a throwback to that time.
Exactly right. And of course, I'm going to give you my favorite scene. It's not even to do with any of the talent. My favorite scene is the randomness of that two-headed janitor. I thought that just kills me every time.
To be a sensational act.
Fact, I'm the janitor.
It's like a two-headed janitor. Oh, okay, I guess in the Looney Tunes world, there are two-headed janitors. Who knew, right? It's so good. I mean, which was your favorite? I mean, was it the three birds or was it the ending?
I would probably say as I mentioned, the water dunking act. I got a big kick out of that. The Man with 1,000 Voices routine. I got a big kick out of that one as well. I just love seeing Mel Blanc. Pretty much, it was kind of like a meta joke where Mel Blanc was just making fun of himself. But in particular, I love the beginning of this cartoon because what's very unique about this cartoon is that the short starts during the opening credits. Usually, you have the credits rolling and Carl Stalling will pick like a particular music that would fit, the context of the opening titles of the cartoon, whatever. But I like how it's like, boom, you hear Mel Blanc singing as this operatic grasshopper, and he's singing the prelude to the second act of the opera Lohengrin by Wagner. I mean, there's no lyrics to it. He's just going la 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 la. And of course, I think of Long-Haired Hare that you hear the same piece of music in that cartoon. But just like how over the top Mel Blanc is, and then of course he's like, I slayed him in Scranton, I panicked them in Peoria, and I looked it up. Well, I already knew Scranton was in Pennsylvania. I had to double check. Peoria is in Illinois. The home of Richard Pryor, which I didn't know. Again, it's just like Mel Blanc is just flexing his voice acting chops in this one. It was really, really neat. And just all these weird voices he comes up with. It's like you're getting a masterclass in Mel Blanc's vocal range in this cartoon. And yeah, he even did the chicken. He did the chicken clucking as well. It's like insert 10 minutes of Manny going insane about Mel Blanc here.
Of course. and that's why in terms of a rating, for me anyway, that's why I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. See, it's not a memorable short, but it's one of those little hidden gems, those hidden nuggets, if you will, where if you go into it seeing a masterclass in what Mel Blanc could do, that's the highlight here. It's also funny. It's got a few funny gags here and there. It's just not particularly memorable. I mean, how would you rate this one?
Well, you said nuggets, and I was thinking, which one? Spicy nuggets from Wendy's? Those are really... Oh, sorry. Focus, not food. I had this one slightly higher at first, but then after watching the other cartoon that we're going to talk about in a bit, I was like, yeah, this one is not as good as that. And I actually, when I was looking at the IMDb page for the rating that they put on there, they put 6.9 out of 10. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with 7. I originally had a little bit higher, but I'm like, yeah, it's not super memorable, but it does have a decent amount of funny parts to it, but it's not like blow you away. So 7 out of 10 is a good rating. I agree with you.
Yep. Perfect. So I think we'll wrap this one up here because there's really not that much more to talk about. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take care.
I killed him in Cucamonga.
Say, that really is terrific.
Yeah, but there's just one tiny little thing wrong with it. I can only do it once.